Light reveals a world where death stalks in every shadow. Silence is merely a cloak for the patient eyes that watch their prey. On this exposed stage, there is nowhere truly to hide. Every step is a gamble with death, where the weak are swiftly erased. Here, strength does not guarantee victory. Only adaptation earns the right to live. This harsh cycle never rests. Every footstep is a wager for survival. A reality far more real and unforgiving than any animal documentary you have ever witnessed. On the African savanna, there are encounters that define the very essence of the wild. Among them, none is more epic than the battle between the lion and the buffalo. On one side, the continent's most iconic predator, a ruthless strategist who reigns at the top of the food chain. On the other, a colossal herbivore, possessing a terrifying power that can turn the hunter into the hunted in an instant. The lion is a master of pride organization. Unlike other solitary big cats, they rely on unity to confront gigantic adversaries. The lionesses, agile and disciplined, lead the hunt. They glide through the shadows of the tall grass like golden phantoms. Every step is calculated. Every approach is a dance of precision. The objective is clear: to bring down a Cape buffalo, an opponent that can weigh over 2,000 pounds. But attacking a buffalo is not like hunting a zebra. It is a risk that can come at a very high price. When the pride reveals itself, the savanna transforms into a battlefield. The heavy tread of the buffalo herd makes the ground tremble. The herd, instead of scattering, reacts like a trained army. They encircle the young, form a line, and lower their heads in unison, turning themselves into living ramparts. A single counterattack can change everything. A buffalo's charge can send an adult lion flying through the air, breaking ribs and inflicting fatal wounds. But the horns are not just a defensive weapon, they are a life's diary. The thick, rock-hard base of the horns, known as the boss, can fuse in mature males, forming a nearly impenetrable helmet. And even more astonishingly, buffalo are known for their extraordinary memory and seem capable of holding a grudge. There have been documented cases of entire herds turning back to actively hunt down and attack the same lions that had stalked them days before. This is not just self-defense, it is retribution. For a lion, a serious injury is not just pain, it is a death sentence. A weakened hunter cannot keep up with the pride, cannot hunt, and cannot survive. And yet, the pride persists. Hunger forces them to face that risk. A buffalo is a precious prize, one that can feed the entire pride for days. The confrontation between lion and buffalo rarely has a clear winner. Many times, the result is a brutal stalemate. But there are moments when the big cat strategy succeeds, when unity and patience create the perfect ambush. The lion may be king, but before the buffalo, even a monarch must bow to the unpredictability of nature. The African savanna is one of the largest and most impressive stages on the planet. It stretches like a golden carpet from Kenya to Botswana. At first glance, the landscape may seem open and simple, but it is, in fact, a natural theatre where every detail plays a role in the great drama of survival. This is an environment of harsh contrasts. By day, the sun scorches the earth. At night, the heat gives way to a biting cold. The vastness of the savanna creates an illusion. It seems endless, but it is also a trap. For the animals that live here, there is no real hiding place. In this open setting, the strong have nowhere to hide, and the weak are always the first to fall. On this giant stage, every movement is exposed under the unforgiving light of nature. Any small mistake can become a death sentence. And in this unforgiving land, life belongs only to those who can adapt faster than a heartbeat. On the African savanna, time is not just the passing of day and night. Life here is governed by two main rhythms, the wet season and the dry season. When the rainy season arrives, the sky opens up in majestic storms. In a few weeks, the desolate landscape transforms into a green ocean. The grass grows nearly 6 feet high. Herds of wildebeest, zebras, and gazelles pour out onto the plains, enjoying the abundance. But that prosperity also awakens the predators. Lions, cheetahs, leopards, and spotted hyenas take advantage of the plentiful young prey. Then the cycle reverses. The dry season arrives like a blade of fire. The clear blue sky becomes merciless, and the sun bakes the earth until it cracks. The green grass vanishes, replaced by carpets of withered yellow, crisp under the hooves of the animals. The rivers shrink to mere shallow pools. During the dry season, survival becomes a test of endurance. The herds are forced to travel vast distances in search of water and food. This is the period when natural selection shows its harshest face. Only those who can endure the long journey have a chance to see the rains return. The African savanna is known for its giant herbivores, but it is the predators who truly shape the balance of this ecosystem. Among them, 4 species stand out as icons of strength, speed, intelligence, and brutality: the lion, the leopard, the cheetah, and the spotted hyena. The lion is the embodiment of majesty and collective power. Unlike other solitary big cats, they live and hunt in prides. This social behavior makes them formidable strategists, capable of confronting enormous prey like zebras, wildebeest, and even buffalo. The leopard is a master of the art of camouflage. With its coat covered in dark rosettes, it disappears among the shadows of trees or in the tall grass. It relies on patience and individual strength. It approaches silently until the last moment and attacks with an explosive burst. Its signature move is the ability to haul prey significantly heavier than itself, sometimes twice its own weight, up into the high branches of a tree, away from competitors. The cheetah, in contrast, bets everything on speed. It is the fastest land animal on the planet, capable of accelerating from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3 seconds. But the secret to its speed is not just in its legs. Its spine is incredibly flexible, acting like a giant spring, launching its body forward with each stride. And its long, heavy tail is not just for show. It acts as a living rudder, helping the cheetah to maintain balance and make sharp turns at high speed. Its entire body is a masterpiece of biological engineering designed for one purpose: explosive speed. But this specialization comes at a price. The cheetah cannot maintain that speed for long. After a few seconds of pursuit, its body will succumb to exhaustion. The spotted hyena, often seen as an opportunist, is actually one of the most effective predators on the savanna. Its bite is one of the most powerful among carnivorous mammals, capable of crushing the thickest bones. Contrary to stereotype, hyenas carry out most of their own hunts. They work in groups, surrounding their prey and exhausting it to the very end. and their brutality begins at birth. Hyena cubs are born with their eyes open and a full set of teeth. If they are twins, the struggle for survival begins immediately. The cubs will fight each other to the death just hours after being born, a behavior known as siblicide. In this deadly cradle, only the strongest survives to carry on the clan's legacy. These four predators are proof that there is no single way to survive. The lion relies on unity, the leopard on cunning, the cheetah on speed, and the hyena on the power of organization. If the predators dominate the stage with their majesty, it is the herbivores that are the true foundation of the African savanna. They are the silent engineers of this ecosystem, shaping the landscape with every step and ensuring that the wheel of life continues to turn. Millions of wildebeest, zebras and gazelles cross the plains each year, carving invisible paths through the vegetation. Their droppings fertilize the land, returning nutrients that feed new plant life. Each species performs a distinct function. Zebras eat the taller, more fibrous layer of grass, clearing the way for the wildebeest to access the lower vegetation. Soon after, gazelles feed on the youngest shoots, completing a perfect chain of utilization. But being a herbivore does not mean just grazing peacefully. To survive, they have developed keen senses and impressive collective behaviors. The entire herd is organized in a defensive formation, keeping the young in the center while the adults stand guard around them. The herbivores are not just prey, they are the invisible pillars that nourish the earth and maintain the fragile balance of an ecosystem. Few natural phenomena are as powerful as the Great Migration on the African savanna, It is a spectacle of epic proportions where millions of wildebeest, along with zebras and gazelles, embark on a journey of about 1,000 miles. The migration is not just a movement, but the beating heart of the savanna, an eternal cycle that determines the life of countless species. It all begins in the Serengeti, when the dry season arrives and turns the lush green into a golden carpet of dust. Gradually, the herds form, as if responding to an invisible call. That call is not entirely invisible. Scientists believe that wildebeest have an extraordinary ability. They can sense the rains from hundreds of miles away. They are not just following the green grass, they are following the promise of the rains. Their keen hearing can pick up the low-frequency sound of distant thunder, guiding them on a journey based on faith in a wetter future. The sound of hooves is at first hesitant, but soon becomes a continuous thunder. The march is a supreme test of endurance. The young are born on the move and must learn to walk in minutes, for the journey does not stop. But the migration is not just a journey through arid lands, it is a deep dive into the territory of danger. The Mara River is the greatest challenge. Its murky waters conceal the Nile crocodiles, true giants patiently waiting. As the first wildebeest plunge into the water, chaos erupts. Thousands of bodies jostle against each other. Many are swept away by the current, and many others fall to the sharp jaws. Even upon reaching the other side, the trial is not over. Lions, hyenas, and cheetahs await the exhausted groups. Unity is the greatest weapon on this journey. The wildebeest move en masse, turning individual vulnerability into a collective fortress. Zebras mingle with the herd, bringing their keen senses to detect predators and taking advantage of the group's numerical protection. The migration is, in essence, an invisible thread that connects the entire ecological network of the savanna. Year after year, generation after generation, the wildebeest follow the same path, as if obeying an ancestral promise. On the African savanna, herbivores are not just passive victims. Each species has developed a set of skills and natural weapons. The Thompson's gazelle is one of the most impressive examples. Small and slender, it can reach speeds of up to 50 miles per hour. But its survival secret is not just its speed. Its zigzag running style confuses even the fastest predators. The zebra bets on more than one strategy. When fleeing, it can reach 40 miles per hour, but what truly makes it dangerous are its kicks. Their hind legs are true biological weapons. A single kick can break bones or even kill a predator. The giraffe, the tallest land animal, possesses legs that are both long and lethal. At nearly 6 feet long, they can deliver kicks with a force of up to 2,000 pounds. Its height is also a strategic advantage. Its eyes, situated over 16 feet above the ground, allow it to spot enemies from miles away. But that height also poses an incredible biological challenge. How to pump blood to the brain? A giraffe's heart is a phenomenal machine, weighing up to 24 pounds and generating blood pressure twice that of a human. Bending down to drink is a deadly act for a giraffe. The immense blood pressure could rupture its brain. But it has a secret, the rite mirabile, a sophisticated network of valves that blocks the blood flow the moment it lowers its head. A built-in natural G-suit. Its entire circulatory system is a marvel of creation. The warthog dashes across the savanna with its mane erect like a rebellious blade of grass. Its curved tusks are a shield for survival against all dangers. When pursued, it darts into its burrow as quickly as if vanishing into the earth. And amidst the sunburnt grass, this seemingly clumsy creature is one of the most resilient. The scimitar-horned oryx perhaps possesses the most impressive weapon, a pair of long, straight horns that can exceed 3 feet in length. They look like swords forged for the battlefield. The wildebeest moves like a black wave, rolling across the grasslands to the wild drumbeat of nature. In the moment of life and death, its steel-like hooves pound the earth, carrying the fierce vitality of the great African migration. When attacked, the wildebeest confronts its enemy head-on, swinging its head powerfully to deliver blows that can pierce even a lion's thick hide. The African buffalo, finally, is the giant that makes even the most audacious hunters wary. Weighing nearly 2,000 pounds and with horns as hard as steel, it has the ability to turn any hunting attempt into a nightmare. When provoked, it does not flee, it attacks. On the African savanna, where the horizon is open and life is almost always exposed, survival requires more than just strength or speed. Many species have found their greatest weapon in the art of camouflage and evasion. It is the art of disappearing before the enemy's eyes. The impala is one of the great masters. Its golden brown coat blends perfectly with the dry grass in the dry season and the lush vegetation in the rainy season. When danger approaches, it can stand motionless for minutes, becoming a part of the landscape. Amidst the savanna, an ancient riddle presents itself, written in black and white. For decades, we believed this was camouflage. An optical illusion to deceive the lion's eye. But the truth is far more sophisticated and aimed at a smaller but more persistent foe. To the eyes of a blood-sucking tsetse fly, this is not an animal. It is a bewildering matrix of polarized light. An optical suit of armor that makes it impossible for them to find a landing spot. This is not just defense. It is a genius solution to a million-year-old problem permanently etched into the skin. To the eyes of this blood-sucking fly, this is a bewildering matrix of polarized light, making it impossible for them to land. A genius solution to an everyday problem etched right into the skin. On the African savanna, communication is a weapon as powerful as horns or speed. Many herbivores have developed sophisticated warning systems, capable of turning a simple sound into a collective survival signal. It is a universal language made of sounds, movements, and even scents, connecting different species in an invisible defensive network. The impala is perhaps the most notable example. When it spots a predator, it emits a sharp, piercing call that can be heard from hundreds of yards away. That sound acts as an alarm siren, not only for other impalas, but also for zebras, wildebeest, and even birds. The wildebeest, for its part, relies on deep calls, almost like low rumbles that echo across the savanna. The reaction is immediate. Thousands of individuals form a line and begin to run as a single mass, creating a constantly moving wall of bodies. On the African savanna, the future of each species depends on the survival of its young. Fragile, inexperienced, and vulnerable, they are both a hope and a risk. The giraffe is a notable example. Although its height allows it to spot predators from afar, its young are still easy prey for lions and hyenas. To protect them, the mothers use their most powerful weapon, their hind legs. A single kick can disable a predator in seconds. The hippopotamus, although it spends most of its time in the water, is no less protective. Its young always swim close to their mother. If a crocodile approaches, the reaction is immediate. The mother attacks with bites, capable of breaking even wooden boats. The elephant is perhaps the most impressive protector. Living in herds led by experienced females, they take on the role of guardians. When danger approaches, the adults form a circle around the young, placing them at the center of a living fortress. This collective strategy turns the group into an almost impenetrable fortress. On the savanna, protecting the young is not a blind, instinctive act, but a behavior honed by necessity. The African savanna is not just a stage for magnificent landscapes. It is the arena of a relentless struggle, where each dawn brings new stories of courage, wisdom, and survival. Here, victory is never permanent, and defeat is never the final word. In a land where life is never easy, each day is a tense biological struggle. A lion holds its breath in the shade of a stark tree. Its eyes gleam as the setting sun bathes the land in gold. The predator's hour has arrived. Scattered roars echo in the distance, a declaration of war. Black rhinos, the last survivors, move in silence. Their gaze is ever watchful. Towards the riverbank, elephant herds advance slowly, their formations tightly held. Nearby, buffalo gather into a solid mass, their horns a formidable barrier facing outwards. Meanwhile, the leopard, a silent walker, conceals itself among the shadows and branches. Some hope only to survive until dawn, others calculate every step to satisfy their hunger. South Africa is known as a kingdom of wild nature, a convergence of nearly all characteristic terrains. This land boasts nearly 20 national parks, stretching from damp coastal forests to inland savannas. Spanning over 471,000 square miles, South Africa encompasses 8 major ecoregions. This rare convergence makes the country one of the world's most significant biodiversity hotspots. South Africa possesses a diverse and distinctive natural climate system, extending from the semi-arid regions in the west. The marked variation in rainfall and temperature with latitude and altitude creates distinct environmental conditions. Thanks to this interplay, South Africa is home to some 299 mammal and 858 bird species. Located in the southwest and central parts of South Africa, the Karoo and succulent Karoo are two of its semi-arid regions. The terrain here consists mainly of vast plains, with a few low mountain ranges and ancient rock formations. The climate is arid year-round, with a great temperature range between day and night. The succulent Karoo is particularly remarkable, as it is one of the few semi-arid biodiversity hotspots on Earth. It is a region that clearly reflects life's capacity for adaptation and evolution. The rock hyrax is one of the Karoo's most conspicuous residents. Few would guess that this guinea pig-like creature is, in fact, a relative of the elephant. This species thrives among the Karoo's rocky crevices, where it can find refuge from predators. According to numerous studies, the rock hyrax typically lives in groups. Their morning sunbathing ritual also aids digestion, allowing them to process tough herbal plants. The rock hyrax is also renowned for its sentry duty. Within the colony, one individual will always stand atop a boulder, sounding an alarm call at the first sign of danger. Like a valiant guard, the meerkat stands out with a survival strategy based on community. This species lives in groups and exhibits a very clear sentry behavior. They often stand on their hind legs to watch for distant danger across the open plains. Each meerkat mob can have up to 40 members, operating as a cohesive unit. In addition to guard duty, members of the group are responsible for caring for and training the young. Their forelegs, with sharp claws, allow them to dig deep tunnels underground. These burrows maintain a stable temperature, helping them escape both extreme heat and cold. Meerkats are most active at dawn and dusk, when the temperatures are more bearable. According to a report by the Kalahari Meerkat Project in 2024, meerkats are considered one of the few small species. Furthermore, the navigational ability of meerkats has attracted great interest. In semi-arid conditions where resources are scattered, this spatial orientation In such an environment, every species needs a strong survival instinct, and the bat-eared fox is no exception. As its name suggests, this species possesses enormous ears, about 4 to 5 inches long. It feeds mainly on subterranean insects, especially termites and crickets. In the heat of the Karoo, these are not just ears for cooling. They are a radar system. It does not see its prey. It is listening to an army of millions marching underground. It's termite feast. The bat-eared fox lives in lifelong pairs on the arid plains. The pair clearly divides their duties. Each individual digs and defends its own territory. When termites are scarce, this fox adapts its diet to beetles, larvae, and grasshoppers. The bat-eared fox possesses a specialized set of teeth. It has more teeth than most other mammals. Their communication is also very distinctive. The pair uses their tails and ears to express emotional states. Though not as agile or swift as the smaller animals previously mentioned, the strength of the black rhino As one of the big five, the black rhino is remarkably well adapted to the semi-arid environment. The rhino has poor eyesight, but an extremely keen sense of smell. It is very cautious and difficult to approach. The total population of black rhinos in South Africa at the end of 2023 was approximately 2,065 individuals. Despite its large size and imposing appearance, the black rhino is a particularly sensitive species. Each individual possesses its own territory, lives a solitary life, and rarely interacts with others. Most fascinating is the black rhino's symbiotic relationship with the red-billed oxpecker. This bird often perches on the rhino's back or neck, picking off ticks and parasites. Crucially, the oxpecker also functions as a living alarm system. Although the bird may sometimes peck at wounds to feed on blood, the benefit of the warning. The black rhino is a browser, specializing in the leaves, twigs, and shoots of bushes. When food is scarce, it can digest plants with moderate levels of toxicity. Remarkably, they can survive for more than 5 days without drinking, drawing moisture. The black rhino has a body structure suited for a solitary life. To conserve energy, it usually moves slowly and is active at dawn and dusk. The black rhino's hearing is also highly developed, allowing it to perceive sounds from a great distance. However, due to its extreme caution, encounters with this species in the wild are often limited. Rhinos reproduce slowly, with a gestation period of up to 15 months, giving birth to only one calf at a time. The young calf stays with its mother for 2 to 3 years. Studies in 2025 highlighted that the average annual growth rate is only 4.2%. This species has endured a history of survival marked by dramatic changes. The subsequent recovery has been slow, thanks to strict conservation measures and control of poaching. Due to the severe decline in the last century, reserves in South Africa are implementing strategies. Measures include armed patrols, GPS monitoring of individuals, and dehorning. If the black rhino represents silent resistance in a harsh land, the ostrich presents the opposite image. The ostrich is the largest bird in the world. Although flightless, it runs with great speed. An ostrich can stand up to 8 feet tall and weigh around 220 pounds. It runs at a constant speed of about 37 miles per hour and can maintain this pace. Ostriches live in small groups of 5 to 50 individuals, especially during the breeding season. This behavior provides them with a wide field of vision and vigilance against predators. Its diet consists mainly of vegetation, leaves, grasses, plants, and sometimes fruit. Its body temperature is regulated through special mechanisms. A study in 2024 estimated the ostrich density in the region to be about 2 to 4 birds. Long-term studies also show that flocks move in groups to optimize access to food. During the breeding season, males may lead a harem of 2 to 7 females. Male-female pairs cooperate in incubating eggs in a single communal nest to maximize survival. Amid the vast grasslands of Kruger, where the Oliphant's River winds through tall grass, the Nyala appears. They do not join the hustle of savanna life, but choose to live on the fringes. The male Nyala is unmistakable. Its bluish-gray coat, with white vertical stripes along its flanks, looks like a living sculpture. In contrast, the female is a light reddish-brown with fewer markings, allowing her to blend in easily. Nyala live in small groups, sometimes only a few individuals, moving in silence. Their diet is not based on grass like many other antelopes, but on leaves and fallen fruit. It is this selective browsing that gives them a special role in regulating the vegetation. Despite their delicate appearance, Nyala are extremely cautious. If they feel threatened, they emit a sudden sound similar to a dog's bark. This dispersal strategy makes it difficult for large predators to successfully approach. If the nyala is a gentle shadow gliding through the riverside thickets to hide, the African wild dog represents the opposite. This is a native wild dog, known for its mottled coat and highly effective pack hunting strategy. It is critically endangered, with only a few packs remaining in Kruger and some other reserves. A study in 2022 showed that this population maintains a low level of natural inbreeding. Individuals live in packs of 10 to 30 members with a complex structure. Although their gene pool lacks great diversity, it is sufficient to maintain the viability of the packs. Their hunting tactic is an art of synchronization. The wild dogs detect and encircle their prey in the early hours of the day or at dusk. A study in 2024 showed their diet consists mainly of small and medium-sized antelopes. According to the Fauna and Flora portal, wild dogs quickly exhaust their prey. In Kruger, the African wild dog population is estimated to be stable at 300 to 400 individuals. Data from BioQuest Africa in 2024 confirms that nearly 300 individuals live freely within Kruger. This is South Africa's largest population and is considered the last stronghold of the species. Their journey of survival is fraught with challenges. A 2024 study confirmed that the Kruger population has low genetic diversity. However, this could affect their resilience to environmental changes. Additionally, pressure from large predators like lions or leopards affects their density and distribution. If the African wild dog symbolizes sophisticated pack hunting, the lion represents absolute power. An icon of African wildlife, The lion lives in prides and occupies the dominant role in the food chain. The task of hunting always falls to the lionesses. They hunt in groups from dawn to dusk. They are smaller, faster, and better coordinated in collective pursuits. The stability of relationships between males is a key factor in survival. When young males mature, around 2 to 3 years of age, they are driven out of the pride to find a new coalition. If they succeed in joining a coalition or conquering a territory, they will eliminate the cubs of the previous litter to bring the lionesses back into estrus. Data from tracking collars in 2024 showed a pride travels an average of 5 miles each day. Their hunting success rate is between 30 and 40%, lower than that of African wild dogs. Cooperative hunting and the strength of unity are key to enabling them to take on targets. Lions also know how to use the terrain of the Kruger grasslands. The sounds used to mark territorial limits can travel up to 5 miles. Lion reproduction follows a demanding cycle. Lionesses have a gestation period of about 110 days and give birth to 2 to 4 cubs per litter. although only about 40% survive the first year due to pressure from predators. Based on studies from 2020 to 2025, Kruger currently has between 1,500 and 2,000 lions. The daily activities of lions in Kruger are varied. In the morning, they often gather in wooded areas to rest and digest. At the same time, epidemiological monitoring for diseases like bovine tuberculosis allows sandparks to implement biological measures. One of the reasons for the lion's mere 40% hunting success rate is intense competition. The spotted hyena is a carnivore with an incredibly powerful jaw, capable of crushing bones. Their society is matriarchal. Females are larger and occupy the highest ranks in the clan. They live in clans that can range from 20 to 80 individuals, and in especially favorable conditions, this number can be even larger. Contrary to the stereotype that hyenas only scavenge, they are, in fact, as effective hunters as lions. Research from 2010 and updates in 2024 show that from 43 to 95% of their diet. When they hunt in groups, their efficiency increases from 25 to 35% compared to hunting alone. The air grows thick. Only the heart-rending calls of the spotted hyenas remain. The scent of blood rises and curls in the hot air. Suddenly, in the distance, the figures of lionesses appear. One lunges forward, attacking the largest hyena straight on the shoulder. The other hyenas rush forward, baring their teeth and biting at the enemy's legs and tail. The savanna erupts into an inferno of roars, howls, and tearing flesh. Scenes of conflict between these two species are not uncommon on the savanna. They can run up to 37 miles per hour for several miles. Hyenas also know how to exploit the terrain of the Kruger grasslands. Each clan marks its territory with scat and urine near trails. The population of spotted hyenas in Kruger is currently quite stable, estimated at 1,300 to 1,800 individuals. Despite sharing their habitat with lions and other prominent predators, they persist. Like the hyena, scavenging is an essential part of the Kruger ecosystem, and the white-backed vulture is the indispensable cleaner. This vulture, the most common in South Africa, plays a critical role in preventing the spread of disease. With a wingspan of over 6.5 feet and extraordinary vision, it can soar at altitudes of thousands of feet. The spiraling flight at high altitude is the white-backed vulture's unique way of locating carcasses. Although they fly alone, upon finding a kill, they quickly gather in small flocks. Their ability to clean up carcasses is both a survival story of their own and a service to the entire ecosystem. A 2024 report confirmed that thanks to vultures, dozens of cases of disease transmission are prevented. Data also shows that about 100 vultures can strip the carcass of a 100-pound antelope in just 3 minutes. However, the white-backed vulture's path to survival is not simple. According to IUCN data, the population of this species has declined by an average of 4.1% per year. Organizations are implementing rescue programs, monitoring, and community prevention against poisoning. One of the main causes is the poisoning of wildlife to cover up poaching activities. The most serious recent incident occurred in May 2025 in Kruger National Park. They had fed on a poisoned elephant, causing the toxin to spread throughout the group. Organizations are developing rescue programs, monitoring, and community prevention against poisoning. Stretching north from the Kruger grasslands is the Limpopo Olifants Riparian Zone. Rivers like the Limpopo and Olifants provide year-round water and allow for the formation of wetlands. Along these watercourses lies an ecological belt where life concentrates at its highest density. The strip of land between the Limpopo and Olifants rivers is a paradise of vegetation and home to the warthog. This species is mainly active during the day, taking advantage of the early hours of light to forage. Warthogs particularly favor grasslands near rivers, where the soil is firm and the grass is short and easy to graze. A recent study in the Limpopo Olifants Riparian Zone in 2024 recorded a density of about 3 to 5 individuals. At midday, when the sun is at its peak, they return to abandoned burrows to rest. Warthogs often use burrows previously dug by aardvarks and sometimes utilize those of porcupines. They enter the burrow backwards, keeping their tusks facing outwards as a defensive barrier. The warthog is an omnivore, primarily feeding on grass and roots, but when necessary, it supplements its diet. Warthogs live in groups called sounders, consisting of females and their young, forming small communities. When threatened, they raise their tails vertically to alert others and dash straight into their burrows. Meanwhile, on the riverbank appears a colossal creature that combines majesty with memory and emotion, the African bush elephant. The African bush elephant is the largest land animal on the planet. It is neither agile nor swift. But to have survived for thousands of years in the harshness of the environment, the elephant is anything but ordinary. The herd is led by an old and experienced matriarch. A study in 2024 showed that these matriarchs can remember the exact locations of water holes. Furthermore, they lead the herd back on a cycle of 12 to 15 months. With their enormous size but a youthful spirit, elephants often choose the Oliphant's River as their bathtub. They use their trunks to suck up water, spray it on their backs, and roll in the mud. This cools their skin and also protects against parasites and keeps their hides moisturized. The spatial and emotional memory of elephants is astonishing. A project published in the Animal Behavior Journal in 2025 documented that at least 65% of herds This behavior demonstrates a deep affection and an extraordinary social bond. The diet of an elephant is quite varied. They are giant herbivores that consume shrubs, leaves, and bark. This process contributes essentially to the regeneration of low vegetation and ecological balance. During the dry season, when shallow streams disappear, African bush elephants use their tusks and trunks. The trunk is both a sophisticated survival tool and a versatile defensive weapon. The matriarch's memory is not just a recollection, it is a water map. She knows exactly where her ancestors dug for water 50 years ago. And when she finds it, she doesn't just save her family. She becomes the chief engineer, the life bringer for the entire valley. The elephant's ability to communicate is also remarkable. They produce infrasound calls from 14 to 30 Hz that can travel for miles. A 2024 study recorded these infrasound signals being emitted when the herd expressed emotions. Despite standing up to 11 feet tall and weighing around 13,000 pounds, elephants can move quickly. When threatened, the herd often spreads its ears, raises its trunks, and advances slowly. Ultimately, elephants have a powerful impact on the riverside ecological structure. By knocking down bushes and opening paths for sunlight, they create conditions for grasses and seedlings. Meanwhile, beneath the river's surface appears a semi-aquatic giant with extraordinary power and survival instincts, the hippopotamus. The hippopotamus is the second largest semi-aquatic animal in the world. The hippo's roar is not just for show. It's a stereo concert. It produces sound simultaneously through its mouth and its throat. It's a dual message, warning enemies on land and the crocodiles lurking below. Despite their seemingly placid appearance, they are extremely aggressive when they feel threatened. This is one of Africa's most dangerous species, responsible for about 500 human fatalities each year. A hippo can hold its breath for up to 5 minutes and walk or even run along the riverbed. At night, when it's cooler, they come ashore to graze, consuming up to 110 pounds of grass. A 2024 study demonstrated that hippo dung plays a crucial role. They defecate directly in the water and then wag their tails to disperse the waste, promoting growth. Their massive muzzles and mouths contain 2 canines that can grow up to 20 inches long. When threatened, they can open their mouths up to 180 degrees with a bite force of 8,000 to 9,000 newtons. Also lurking in the river, the Nile crocodile, the region's largest, stirs in silence. They are prominent in stretches of the river around Kruger, where the slow-moving current creates ideal conditions. The Nile crocodile lies motionless just below the surface, exposing only its eyes and nostrils, waiting for prey. With a bite of up to 22,000 newtons, one of the strongest in the animal kingdom, when the moment comes, it launches a lightning-fast attack, using its tail for a powerful strike to unbalance its victim. It all ends so quickly that the surface is still rippling while the prey has already vanished into the murky depths. An incredible trait of this species is its ability to endure long periods of fasting. They can slow their metabolism and hold their breath underwater for up to 2 hours. Reproduction is also a fundamental part of their population strategy. Each season, the female builds a sand nest on the bank, where she lays 30 to 60 eggs. Research shows that the Nile crocodile population in the Olifants has faced significant ecological pressure. However, studies in 2024 indicate that in the lower reaches of the river around Kruger, the population remains stable. The Nile crocodile is also considered a keystone species in the Olifants aquatic ecosystem. Its presence is an indicator that the river system remains healthy, indirectly supporting. From the lowlands of the Limpopo River, South Africa's terrain gradually rises southward. This area extends at an altitude of 4,600 to 5,900 feet, where the climate is cooler. The landscape is characterized by grasslands interspersed with low shrubs, forming an ecological foundation. Under the wide skies of the high-veld grasslands, groups of springbok, the national animal of South Africa. This antelope is famous for its high leaps and can reach speeds of up to 55 miles per hour. They typically inhabit open grasslands with scattered shrubs, well adapted to the dry and cold climate. In the harsh nature of the high-veld, springbok are most active at dawn and dusk. They move in herds from a few dozen to hundreds of individuals, protecting each other with their high jumps. A distinctive detail of the springbok is the dark stripe that runs from its eye to its mouth. The springbok can survive for long periods without drinking water due to its ability to absorb liquid. The rainy season is also the ideal time for reproduction, although they mate year-round. The gestation period lasts 5 to 6 months, and they usually give birth to a single calf per litter. While the springbok paints graceful leaps across the plateau, the black wildebeest leaves. They have a dark brown coat, a thick mane on their neck, and forward curving horns. Wildebeest live in large herds, creating rhythmic movements across the savanna. These migrations are for both foraging and maintaining social structure and defense. Their diet consists mainly of low grasses and herbaceous plants. In cold and arid conditions, the black wildebeest can survive for weeks without direct access. According to a 2024 study, the density of black wildebeest in some areas of the Free State Each herd consists of both adults and young, operating in an organized manner with group defense behaviors. Instead of relying solely on speed when threatened, black wildebeest move in a synchronized fashion. The waving white tail is a visual signal that keeps the herd cohesive while running. After the organized defensive display of the black wildebeest herds, the savanna landscape continues to bustle. Both species live in close proximity, forming a natural alliance on the high-veld grasslands. The plain zebra is common in the open savannas and grasslands of South Africa. Cooperation with wildebeest is an effective survival and defense strategy for the zebra. Studies on herd dynamics, published in the Journal of Behavioral Ecology, show this tactic reduces The zebra's diet consists mainly of short grasses and herbs. Each zebra consumes 33 to 44 pounds of dry matter per day, ensuring necessary energy. For individual defense, a zebra can reach speeds of up to 40 miles per hour in short sprints. Their powerful hind legs can deliver kicks with a tremendous force, enough to cause serious injury to a predator. During the dry season, zebra herds follow wildebeest to areas with stable water. If the zebra is an artist of camouflage on the grasslands, the Cape buffalo is like a living shield. One of the big five, this African buffalo is renowned for its strength and combative temperament. The Cape buffalo has an imposing body, thick hide, and a solid pair of arching horns. They live in herds of 10 to several hundred individuals, forming a natural shield against lions. When threatened, the entire herd unites, creating a living barrier with the horned bulls. This behavior has been documented in numerous confrontations in the Kruger and Mala Mala reserves. During the dry season, they move in large groups to maximize collective defense. In those places, Cape buffalo often wallow in mud, a physiological strategy. This habit is key to their adaptation to long, dry summers. The primary diet of the Cape buffalo consists of grass, but when scarce, they switch to young shoots. An adult can consume from 13 to 37 pounds of dry grass per day, providing energy. In the herd structure, females and young form the core, while adult males patrol. Bachelor groups of males can be very aggressive, though they rarely participate in primary defense. When a calf lets out a distress call, the entire herd reacts and moves to protect it. Finally, Cape buffalo undertake internal seasonal migrations in the Highveld. After the thunderous movements of the Cape buffalo herds, the space seems to settle as a slender figure. This snake-hunting bird is known for its elegant gait, almost like that of a model. The secretary bird has a distinctive walk with long legs and an upright body. Specializing in hunting snakes and other small prey, it uses its powerful legs like hammers. It walks at a pace of about 1.5 to 2 miles per hour, with an average of 120 steps per minute. The secretary bird's technique for killing snakes is impressive. Each bird typically holds a territory of about 8 square miles, traversing the low grasslands. Conservation is a pressing issue for the secretary bird. A study by BirdLife South Africa, presented in a 2024 report, warns. From the vast grasslands of the Highveld, South Africa's landscape transforms dramatically. The garden root forest emerges as a green, humid ribbon winding along the coast. This region is characterized by dense forests, where ancient trees tower tens of feet high. The gently rolling hills interspersed with river valleys have created a unique ecosystem. Under the thick fog, the bushbuck hides among the forest foliage. Unlike many herd-dwelling antelopes, the bushbuck chooses a solitary life. When they sense danger, they do not flee immediately, but stand perfectly still. At a distant sign of threat, the bushbuck freezes, lowers its body, and remains motionless. Absolute silence, combined with the ability to move silently through familiar paths, the bushbuck also has agile legs that allow it to navigate through dense thickets. They prefer to live near streams and watercourses, both for food and for a quick escape. Without fangs or long, powerful horns, the bushbuck relies on extreme vigilance. As night falls, the crown of the garden root forest is silently passed to the leopard. With its honey-colored coat adorned with unique rosettes, it is perfectly camouflaged. In a dense forest environment, this ability to remain hidden is its crucial survival advantage. The leopard typically hunts at night or during times of low light. After taking down its prey, it hauls the carcass into high branches, 13 to 16 feet up. Few know that the leopard is also a surprisingly capable swimmer, though not as naturally as a tiger. It is a valuable skill in a coastal ecosystem like the garden route. However, beneath the serene facade of the leopard's solitary life lie fierce conflicts. One of the greatest threats to leopard cubs is infanticide. When a new male takes control of a territory, he often eliminates cubs that are not his own. According to a 2024 study in the Sabi Sand Game Reserve, this behavior accounts for up to 49% of cub mortality. Furthermore, the leopard's reproductive strategy is heavily dependent on natural territory dispersal patterns. Mature males leave their natal territories to avoid inbreeding. However, with the increase in human-caused mortality, this pattern is disrupted. Leopards reproduce year-round with a gestation period of about 90 to 105 days. The mother raises her young cubs in the forest shadows, teaching them how to climb. In an environment full of competition and threats, survival skills are passed from one generation. Despite being solitary, leopards command vast territories from 8 to 15 square miles. In the grand tapestry of creation, each individual fulfills an assigned role.